only 2 Jewish boyfriends in my life. My mother claims they are both the most un-Jewishy Jews in the world. One was a vegan who denounced circumcision. Gave me a book titled Salt the Silent Killer for my birthday. And dragged me down to the Anti-Tax League on Lafayette Street. My mother found the brochures and said, "Enough is enough, Vanessa, I'm putting my foot down." The other un-Jewishy Jew was a drummer, a Palestinian activist whose parents were atheists and alcoholics. But his mother was Jewish, so by Jewish law, I was dating a Jew. My mother doesn't care who I date anymore. I say anymore because maybe she might have once in the deep forest of her mind had a minuscule but original blueprint for me. But now she just wants me to meet a nice young man that's not depressed. Depressed is one of my mother's favorite words. It is the reason why everything is everything. The books on our shelves growing up were When You Just Can't Get Out of Bed in the Morning, The Dance of Anger, and On Death and Dying. Now she's anti-self-help books. This life change all happened when my mother dated Patrick, an Irish Catholic from Connecticut. My grandmother did not talk to my mother for 1 whole month because of Patrick. And my mother said, "I had my kids with a nice Jewish man, and look what he turned out to be. Ha? Ha?" My grandmother said nothing. Then she cooked a full-course Syrian dinner for Patrick and only cursed under her breath once when he put ketchup on the sambusak, a fine Arabic pastry filled with kashkabal cheese that was now, as she growled, reduced to a French fry. I never spoke to my grandmother about dating outside my religion, outside my age range, outside my race, outside my economic status, outside. Only once did she mention that she thought marrying outside would be hard when you decided to have children. I guess she assumed that people who grow up with parents of the same race and religion grow up with no confusion, anxiety, or questioning of the world. Like me. A perfect example of someone who's completely secure and happy. That's a joke. As I said, my mother doesn't care who I date anymore because she just wants me to be happy. I could date a Muppet, and if that made me happy, she'd be happy. I told my mother I was happy when I met Frank, my first boyfriend in Hunter College. Anyone from Hunter College here? Yeah. I met him on the bridge, the long walkway that connected the 2 main buildings that served as a hangout spot for ambitious lasses like me that were still cutting classes in college. Frank was Dominican. His full name, Francisco, a name that always made me think of those explorers that you read about in the 3rd grade. He lived on Dykeman Street in a low-ceiling basement apartment where his dad was the super. He had a pit bull named Cyborg that was housed in a little gated area outside and ate leftover pasteles when dinner was over. Frank was my first real boyfriend. We always held hands, wrote our names in hearts, and went out to Dallas BBQ when he got his Pell check from financial aid. Everyone thought Frank was a real cutie. He used to date this Colombian girl, Damaris, from Queens, but Damaris smoked cigarettes and was what Frank called a bochinchera, which I think is kind of like a Spanish yenta. Frank and I used to get pictures taken of us on 42nd Street in front of large airbrushed backdrops adorned with fake Gucci and Louis Vuitton logos. Frank posed gangster style, his arm draped around me while I clutched big stuffed animals. Frank was obsessed with giving me stuffed animals. He gave me stuffed animals for every holiday, every fight we made up from, every season change. They got bigger according to the importance of the occasion. For my birthday, I once got a bear the size of a small adolescent. There were stuffed animals he won from Great Adventure holding metallic balloons that said, "I love you." Stuffed animals that sang, "You are my sunshine" when you squeezed them. Stuffed animals with cards around the necks where he filled in the blank, "Dear Shorty." I love you, Francisco. I gave him stuffed animals that stuck to the rear window of his car. Frank had a car which for a Manhattan girl was so fly. let alone a car with a Dominican flag, a pina colada air freshener that made me gag, and a glossy bookmark with Jesus Christ on it dangling from the rearview mirror. I watched Mr. Jesus sway from side to side and wondered if he was watching me, if Mr. Jesus thought I was an enemy. Frank's mother, Rosa, only spoke 3 English phrases. Hi, Vanessa, thank you, and Frank no here. Every Saturday night, Rosa would sit on her yellow velour couch and watch this Spanish TV show I found oddly fascinating called Sábado Gigante.